Hello, welcome to the Valley Strong Credit Union workshop, protecting your children, your parents, and yourself from online criminals. My name is Anna Sherony. I am the Valley Strong Chief Information Security Officer, and it is my pleasure to present you with information to help you protect your family, which include your children, your parents, and yourself from online criminals. What will we cover today? The current threats: phishing, social engineering, identity theft, and ransomware. We will cover the actions you need to take to protect yourself and your family from these types of threats. The IRS will never initiate a contact through email, text, or phone asking you, the taxpayer, for personal or financial information. It is important for you to know the steps that you need to take to protect you and your family members from being a victim of cybercrime, and then also know the steps that you need to take if you become a victim of cybercrime. So many resources to assist you in protecting you and your family, and we're going to go through those and provide those resources also on our website. So after this presentation, you can go to the link that was provided to you in the email that you can attain all the great information from this presentation and review it at your leisure. It is important to know the bad actors are taking advantage of our fear, and we cannot let them do that. Criminals are always our people of opportunity. They look at the current crisis that we're in right now, and they're letting it do their dirty work. The FBI has seen and reported on escalation of attacks due to COVID-19 outbreak through vectors of phishing emails, text messages, which is referred to as smishing, phone calls, which is referred to as vishing, are definitely on the rise. So please, before engaging with any communication, take caution and stop to ensure that it is from a secure, known party. So for instance, you get a call from your credit card company or your bank, and they're telling you there's some fraudulent activity on your account and they need your social security number or whatever it may be. You say, okay, I'm going to call you back. And on your credit card, you're going to pull out your credit card, you're going to flip it over and call that 1-800 number back. For your bank, you're going to call your bank number back or go into the branch to talk to them in person. But when in doubt, take extra precautions to make sure that you're talking to the right people to take action on whatever the issue is, and not on an impersonator who's just trying to steal your data. So the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has a great amount of information out there for you to protect you and your family from scams. So this is just actually their first page. These are all some of the current scams that are going on today, and there's more and more pages of them. So what you can do is you can decide, oh, I want to learn more about scammers offer face masks, but don't deliver. So you can go to that link and you'll see a great amount of information on the do's and don'ts, and then also information of individuals that may have received that scam, through an email or a text message or a phone call, and they're actually posting what's happened to them on those particular incidents. So this is just a great source of information for you to become more aware and more educated on the current scams that are out there today. And also the FTC provides COVID-19 reports per state. So for California, if you can see the uptick on the reported trends over time through March, from January to March, it's pretty low, but you see after COVID-19, there's been a huge uptick, and these are the ones that have been reported. So these numbers are much higher, and they're much higher today because this report was published on June 8th. So if you take a look at it, you're over 8,000 overall reports. It's much higher today. over probably 8 million of fraud losses reported. Not everybody reports their losses. And what are the types of reports that are coming in? It's online shopping, travel, vacations, credit card, mortgages, and scams coming in through text messaging also. So phishing is when someone uses fake emails or text messages or even phone calls to get you to share valuable personal information, like your account numbers to your banks, your social security numbers, login IDs, and passwords. And all they're trying to do is to steal your money and your identity, or both. They also may try to access your computer or network. So if you click on a link in one of these emails or text messages you receive, they can also install ransomware or other programs that lock you out of your data and let them steal your personal information. Scammers use familiar companies' names or pretend to be someone you know. They're very crafty in their messaging today. They are much better at this than they were 5, 10 years ago. And they always pressure you to do something that you need to react. So before you react to something that doesn't make, especially if something doesn't make sense, just take a breather and think about, is this real? Or am I reacting to something that's going to put me in harm's way? Um, it's very important. Just take a moment before you react, before you click. So from phishing attacks, don't take the bait, do not bite, avoid the hook. And how do you do that? Don't click on anything without first checking for who is it from? Well, how do I do that? Where was I copied on the email? What are the hyperlinks? Date and time. Did I receive this email when I would normally not receive it? Subject line, attachments, and the content. And just again, the FTC has great information on phishing. Don't take the bait. But what also is known before, has done a great job in really spelling all that out for you. So in your from section of your email, what are the things you should be checking for? Is this email was sent from someone inside an organization or from a customer, vendor, or partner? It's very unusual or out of character. When an email doesn't make sense that you receive, it probably is not a legit email. The date on it, is it unusual with the time element on it? Am I getting it at 3 a.m. in the morning when I normally would get this email around noon? The subject line, is it relevant or irrelevant? To, who is this to? Who are all the different individuals? Is it to? Unusual mix of individuals. The hyperlinks, when I hover my mouse over the hyperlink, it displays a different link than what is different than the website I would normally go to. So that's a really big red flag. So you can look at all these different red flag alerts that you would look at and say, I'm not going to click on this. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to verify if it's something that you really do need to take action on. They're very clever on their phishing emails today. They're not as sloppy as they used to be. So Wi-Fi, when you're using Wi-Fi in a hotel, or unsecure Wi-Fi's, what I have found is I would watch individuals in a lobby of a hotel, and they would be clicking to sign on to Wi-Fi, and they're really, sometimes there could be 5 or 6 Wi-Fi connections on there, and one of them could be a bad actor in the lobby pretending to be Hotel A, because he might have Hotel A with one letter different in the Wi-Fi name. And so what happens with that, you're connecting to the bad actor's Wi-Fi, and then he's watching all the things that you're doing on your phone or on your computer and gathering that information, and will be able to use it to steal you data from you, money from you, or your identity from you. So also make sure your mobile security is in place. Don't let your guard down because you're on a mobile device. Just because it's not a desktop, it's just as vulnerable. So there are ways to stay safe. There are not to respond to voicemails or calls asking for your financial information. Be careful when you respond back to text messages. Always remember, when in doubt, take that extra step to ensure that you're really communicating with the right individuals and not an impersonator. So there are 20 ways to block email attacks, through Wi-Fi, your apps, your browser, your Bluetooth, the smishing, the text messages that you may receive, and voice phishing. So if you look through all these different things that Known Before provides, for Wi-Fi, don't allow your device to automatically join unfamiliar networks. Always turn off Wi-Fi when you're not using it. That'll save your battery. Never send sensitive information over Wi-Fi unless you're absolutely sure it's a secure network. So be very cautious of what you're doing with your personal information, and that will help you protect it. Be proactive. Strong, unique passwords. I cannot emphasize this enough. So many of the hackers really how they're hacking accounts is because people are using very weak passwords, and they're also storing their passwords in their browsers. Don't store your passwords in your browsers. It's not a secure place to store your passwords. Those are easily crackable. And you want to create strong passwords by using passphrases or with numbers, letters, and symbols. Consider multi-factor authentication. That's basically when you're connecting maybe to your bank or your credit card web account. When you connect, sometimes you're doing it on a different device. You'll get a number sent to your phone, and it will ask you to enter that. That's two-factor authentication, something you have, something that you know. If a criminal figures out your personal password and it's the same as your work and all your financial um, uh, financial institutions that you use, then they have it all. They got everything on you. So you may also want to consider, so for your Facebook and your social media accounts, use a different passwords. For your financial institutions, please use different passwords. Even on each account, it'll make you much safer. Do not share, and I cannot say this enough, any personal information, including social security number, credit card, banking information, unless you know it's a confirmed secure source. I cannot say that enough. You will be surprised at how many people share information with cyber criminals very easily, and all they needed to do was to stop and think, hang up, and make another call, or not click. There's so many different ways that they attack us, so we have to be very diligent in what we do to protect our information. Remember, longer the password, I know they're a pain, but longer the password, please start with 12. 14 is even better. Be unpredictable and creative. Use capital letters, use lowercase, don't use dictionary words. As I mentioned before, strong passphrases and random combination of words that are meaningless together, and replacing letters with numbers or special characters, very important. But also don't bunch up numbers and symbols together. Don't think, oh, I'm really good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not good. Those are very easily crackable. The bad guys have great tool sets for cracking passwords. So if it's weak, they will be able to crack it very quickly. Refrain from using dictionary words. I can't emphasize that enough. All dictionary words are crackable, and especially ones today like house, 1, 2, 3, explanation. It's just very commonly used. The other thing is passwords. Don't use the word password at all. I don't care how creative you are. Don't use that as your password. Not good at all. Doesn't even matter what the combination are. They have those combinations already, and they use them to do the thing called password spraying. It's slow, and they have cracked many accounts using that particular attack vector. The other thing is like book 1, 2, 3, explanation, not a strong password. But what you could do is, be creative. If you're thinking of the word cat, I even do better than this. You got a capital D, C, I would change the A to something else, TT, and then number, and two special characters work well. I would even be more creative than that at this time. And please stay away from using company names. That's one that's very easily cracked, especially when a bad actor is targeting your company. They utilize those password sprays with company names in it, and summer '01, winter '02. Don't use those. Username, social security number, nickname, date of birth, and relative names, because a lot of times, if they're targeting you for whatever reason and from Facebook, they already know your relative's name, and especially if your relatives have very unique names. I mean, not unique names, very common names. They already have that figured out. So use different passwords for different accounts, as I mentioned. I know it's a pain, but it's very important to do. Social media accounts should never have the same passwords as your financial institution accounts. Secure your mobile device. They're attacking the mobile devices in a great deal lately. So be very strong with your securing your phone with a strong password, or better yet, fingerprint or facial recognition for passwords really help out with the hackers. For right now, you never know what they might do down the road. And please, if you think your password has been compromised, change it immediately and change all of them. If we ever have a situation where we feel passwords are compromised, we go across the board and change them all. So please do that and then figure out what might have happened to get your password compromised, but change it immediately. So the Federal Trade Commission provides great information on protecting your identity. If you're active duty, there's, you can put alert on your accounts, you can do credit freeze, how to keep your personal information secure, identity theft protection services. There's many of them out there. I personally use one. I get alerted if there's anything going on from a credit perspective. And also, if you find that you may be a victim of identity theft, you can go to identitytheft.gov to report it, and they provide great information on how you can recover from identity theft and actually take that plan and put it into action. So that's a very important site that you should pre-review. So if you do become a victim, you know what to do right away. And as I've been told, problems do not age well. So the quicker you take action, if you become a victim, the better off you will be. So discovering identity theft. Here, the FTC provides an overview of what you need to know and do about identity theft, placing fraud alerts, warning signs of identity theft. I might not know if I'm a victim of identity theft, but I'm getting bills from accounts I didn't open. The IRS noticed. They said I filed multiple tax returns. Those are big warning signs, and those are things that you want to start investigating right away. And don't think that, you're the only victim. You can be the only victim of identity theft. Your children can be victims of identity theft. Your parents can be victims of identity theft. So all the actions that you take for yourself, please take for your children and for your parents. If you want to place fraud, if you want to do warnings on your credit in case anybody's opening account, or if you decide you want to freeze account, talk to your parents, see if that's something that they need to do also. If you're going to provide identity theft protection services, do that for your parents and for your children. Remember, they all have social security numbers, so they all could be victims of identity theft. So one of the current threats today, and I'm sure everybody's very familiar with ransomware, that is something you never want to experience. Ransomware is one of the most serious online threats that we are facing today as individuals and in businesses and school systems and municipalities. I mean, these guys are attacking everyone. You know why? It's because it is the most profitable form of malware criminals can use today. They are making millions and millions and maybe even billions of dollars on ransomware. It's unbelievable. This is something you never want to see. And what the ransomware hackers do is when you click on a link, or if you click on an email that you received, there's a message that will pop up, and they're very informative. They'll tell you how to create a Bitcoin account, how you only have a limited amount of time to pay the ransomware. Your files are going to be destroyed. And I know how precious our pictures are and our music and even, all the other information that we store on our PCs and laptops. They'll scare you that you have limited amount of time to pay so you can get the encryption keys so you can de-encrypt your data. It's not going to always happen that way. So being taken precaution not to be a victim of ransomware is very important, and know how to react and recover if you become a victim of ransomware attack. And we're going to talk about that now. So what do you need to know? Home computers are just as vulnerable to ransomware and loss of data. And for us, that's in irreplaceable items, family photos, videos, other records can be very devastating to any individual. And in ransomware attack, what happens is upon seeing an email address sent to the victim, they will click on it and they open the attachment and it appears legitimate, or maybe they didn't stop and do the checking that we talked about earlier. And they say, oh, I clicked, and the next thing you know, they got that nasty message coming up on their monitor, and it's basically demanding a ransomware payment. Once the infection is present, the malware begins to encrypt the files. As that window pops up, the files could have already been encrypted, or they're being encrypted as the window's popping up, and your local drives and any attached drives and your backup drives and potential other computers that are on the same network are being infected by the malware, and their items are being encrypted. So users and organizations are generally not aware that they have been affected until they can no longer access their data if, for some reason, that message didn't pop up on their window, on their monitor. But many cases it just pops up and it's over if you didn't prepare for these types of attacks. And what they do is they demand, payment in exchange for a decryption key. Doesn't mean you're going to get the decryption key if you pay. Paying the ransomware, as I just mentioned, doesn't guarantee that you will get your data back. Having backups will guarantee you getting your data back. And also, if you're paying ransomware, remember these are very bad actors, and they're doing very bad things, human trafficking, drugs, and everything. And if you pay them, and even if you do get the encryption key, you're actually funding very bad activities that are hurting many individuals. So the FBI does recommend not to be paying for the ransomware attack. It's better to be prepared to prevent it and to be able to recover from it. So the FBI provides a great website, how to be better prepared to prevent yourself from being a ransomware victim and being able to recover. What do you do if you're a victim of ransomware attack? You reach out to your IT expert, IT department if it's at work, your local law enforcement. They will help you respond if you're not an IT expert. Identify where your backups are, which we'll talk about a little bit more what you need to do for the backups. Report the incident to the FBI. Crimes Complaint Center, the link is here. Again, these links are all available on our website. Please include the criminal's email. They will provide it so you can communicate with them. The payment information like the Bitcoin wallet number. This will help the investigators. And also there's quite a few sites out here. You got the FBI, the CIS, and the FTC ransomware websites that you can look and obtain more information and how to prevent yourself from being a victim of ransomware attack. So here are the tips that you can take to avoid being a victim of ransomware attack. Don't click on emails, as we mentioned before, unless you know who they're from. Do that check from known before. Go through that practice and actually just make it muscle memory. If you receive an email and you're not sure, you can go through those checks before you click, or when in doubt, make that call. Make sure you patch your software. Make sure your security software is patched. Keep your PC and laptop clean. Don't have software on your PC or laptop that you're no longer using or you do not need. That's just another attack surface that a bad actor can utilize to launch an attack against you. And again, one more time, think before you click. Ensure your antivirus and anti-malware solutions are set to automatically update. These don't update every week. They update it could be every hour or every few minutes, depending on what the bad guys are doing and how they're pivoting. You know, these vendors are doing their best to protect you. So you got to make sure that you're automatically taking their updates. Conduct regular scans. And one of the things we're going to really talk about here is the backup your data regularly and verify the integrity of those backups, okay? You want to protect your valuable work, your music, your photos, your digital information that's very important to you. And what you need to do is use the Peter Krog rule 321 as a guide for your backup data. I know it sounds really redundant, but backups need to be redundant. Keep at least 3 copies of your data. Store 2 backup copies on different storage media, and one of them locate off-site. And that way that will protect you if something happens to the location you're in. You'll have a backup off-site, and make sure you secure your backups. And that means do not have your backups connected to your computer. As I mentioned before, if you're a victim of a ransomware attack, they will encrypt everything they can get access to. So make sure your backups are not connected to your PC or your laptop once you've completed the backup, and then check to make sure that the integrity of those backups are in place. Securing your home network. There's a lot of great sites out there. The National Cybersecurity Alliance has a great site on how to secure your home network. So does the FTC. But basically, it's back to the basis. Change the name of your router. Change the preset password phrase on your router. It's very important because the hackers have those. Those are default passwords that are being used. Review security options. Make sure you're using WEP2 and not the older protocols. Create a guest passphrase. It means so like when you have guests that are over your house, they're not logging on to the wireless you're using, that you have a guest network and you have a strong password on your guest network for them to use. Also, separate any of your internet things that you have at home that, you know, your IoT devices like your thermostat, or anything else like your baby monitors and different things, have that on a separate Wi-Fi account also. Use your firewall, make sure that is set up accordingly. And again, a lot of this is redundant, but it's the same thing over and over again. The bad guys are using the things that we have not taken seriously to continue to attack us and steal from us, and we got to stop letting them do that. Keep your security software and all your software current. If you plug anything into your PC or laptop, a USB or any kind of external devices, make sure you scan them first. Protect all devices that are connected to the internet, as I mentioned. Maybe segment them off on different wireless accounts. And then make sure when you're doing your banking or shopping that you're going to HTTPS sites, which are secure, not HTTP sites, which are not. The FTC online security really offers an access to the world of products and services and entertainment of information. It's just so important that, you know, we couldn't live without the internet today, but at the same time, it creates an opportunity for scammers and hackers to steal from us. So we must be aware of what they're doing and what we need to do to protect ourselves. And the FTC online security website has some great information there for you to review. And if you want to avoid the latest ripoff, sign up for the free consumer alerts from the FTC. And again, all these links will be provided to you on our website. There's so many things when you look at online security, so many different aspects. You have to look at from the computer and the mobile security, how to secure my laptop, malware, online tracking, how to protect your data before you get rid of it on your computer. From the network side, securing your wireless network, tips for using public Wi-Fi network. There's so many different things that you need to learn and understand that's important to you. So this is a great site from the FTC that provides you great information in detail and how you can protect yourself. And then common online scams, just like the other ones I was showing you earlier, hacked email, how to recognize and avoid phishing scams, a lot of great information out there for you. Again, the FTC provides, another link on how to recognize phishing, how to protect yourself from phishing attacks. Same things that we've talked about today, but a lot more detail to help you to make sure you don't become a victim. What you can do if you need to report a phishing scam, and please do, this is very important to our agencies that are helping to protect us. The more information they get, the better off they will be in helping us, because it's like anything, it's like big data. The more information you have, the more knowledgeable you can become, and you can look at trends and see what's out there today, and hopefully provide even more information to us and how we can protect ourselves. So if you are a victim of phishing emails, you can report it to Report Phishing at apwg.org or spam@uce.gov. You can also report it to the FTC. If you become a victim, not a victim, but if you receive a phishing text messages and you don't click on it, you can still report it to the 7726 number. Just forward it. And this would be very, very appreciated from all these different agencies that are working to hinder these cyber criminals that are out there, and they just want to steal from us and hurt us. So the Federal Trade Commission, as we mentioned before, you got identity theft to report identity theft and to help you recover. For the FBI, if you're a victim of a ransomware attack or malware attack, you can report it to the FBI. Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, you can report ransomware attacks to them also, or your local FBI office or Secret Service office. You can report it there, or if you have one locally, you can do that also. The Federal Trade Commission did a great job on how to protect your kids online. Talk to your kids about cyberbullying, kid online safety, just some great links for your kids, videos for your kids, to help them understand what these cyber criminals are like, what they do, how they try to entice them to respond to them. You can also look at the parental controls and rights, things that would help you, the privacy online for protecting your children. There's just so many great things out there that the government has put in place for you to protect your children. And these resources, please take advantage of these. It's just some great launching points for you to have some really good conversation with your children. So some of the takeaways, please think before you click. I cannot emphasize that enough. Even if you have to walk away from the computer, walk away. Think before you click. Strong passwords, no shorter than 12. 14's better. Don't share your information until you've confirmed the source. It's really basic if you think about it. Automate your security updates and your software updates, and back up your data. Remember the 3-2-1 rule. The rule is as a guide to backing up your data. Very important to make sure your data is backed up, because then you will recover. And even if you're not a victim of ransomware attack, maybe your laptop or your PC crashes, you'll be able to recover the data that's meaningful to you. For those attending the workshop, they had the pleasure of listening to an agent from the Department of Homeland Security. During this recording, we were not able to record that part of the presentation, but below, if you see on the screen, I provided information that he presented to us in our live webinar, Protecting Your Children from Online Criminals. There's a lot of great links here. Some of them are, links that your children can actually utilize, watch some videos, really understand the characters in these videos and how they're helping your children understand that, people on the internet are not your friends. Your friends are your friends, but people you meet on the internet may not be the people who you think they are. And then also helping parents understand if your child, your child becomes a victim of a cyber criminal, what do you need to do? So these links again are provided on our website for you to utilize as needed. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate your time for attending this workshop. If there's anything we can do, please let us know. We're here to help you keep your family safe. Have a pleasant evening. Take care.